Screen share is done. Yes.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. On behalf of Western India Regional Council, myself, Shweta Jain, welcome to each one of you on this 10 days webinar come workshop on artificial intelligence powered by business intelligence. So now the era is where artificial intelligence is not only for engineers, and if you want your organization to become better at using AI, this is the course which we have designed in such a manner that you will be able to know from meaning behind common artificial intelligence terminology to how to work with and build an artificial intelligence strategy in your company. And for that, we have very learned faculties with us, Professor Asif Rampurwala sir and Professor Sohrab Bakharia. About Asif sir, academician with 17 plus year of experience in teaching, a corporate trainer, technology enthusiast, and vice principal of Vidyalankar College in Mumbai. He is accomplished speaker and presenter. Sir, I welcome you at the platform of WIRC and thank you for accepting our invitation. About Saurabh Vakharia, a technology optimist, is extremely passionate about emerging trends in the technology and implementing the same that improves and eases the lives and businesses of many. From being a professor by profession and a traveler by passion, Saurabh has many achievements and stories to tell. With a profound IT knowledge, he now spearheads Wise Monkeys, an online information sharing portal, and is also a co-founder of a Mumbai-based digital marketing agency called iDigital. I welcome you at the level of WIRC. Welcome both of you and thank you for accepting invitation. Directly, without wasting much time, directly, I would request to you, please take charge for the session. Over to you, Asif sir.
Thank you, Shweta ma'am. Thank you for your kind words of introduction. Um, Good evening, everyone. I hope my audio is clear. My name is Asif Rampurawala, and me and my colleague Sohrab Vakharia would be engaging you all over the coming 10 days in the area of artificial intelligence and business intelligence. Uh, Today's session actually is going to be conducted by Sohrab mostly. Okay, I just came in to introduce myself and to just kickstart the session for today. Um, and I'll be gone in a few minutes. And Saurabh sir will then take over and take the session forward. I'll see you all again hopefully tomorrow, where I'll be talking to you all more about AI and the techniques which I use. Um I will just start off today with a very important concept of what intelligence is, rather than and leave the nitty-gritties about AI to Saurabh. Okay, if you really look at it, every system, is when you talk about something being intelligent, there is a lot of misconception out there and misnomer about what really intelligent is. Especially in the industry today, if you really look at it, lots of applications and softwares and technologies claim to be intelligent, claim to have an AI inbuilt. Okay, now not necessarily everything which claims to be intelligent, or a very common term nowadays has become is smart. Okay, is really an artificially intelligent system. Okay, so now what really qualifies something for to be an artificial intelligence? So we understand that systems, any kind of system, whether it's a mobile based application, whether it's a web based application, whether it's a desktop based application, okay, can be intelligent, okay, if it can behave like a human. Now what does it mean to behave like a human? So there's two aspects to it. Okay, there is the behavioral aspect and the thought. Okay, if a system that thinks like a human, okay, is what we will say is as having an artificial intelligence thought. Okay, systems that think rationally are different. Okay, so in human beings are what we call as rational animals, right? We are able to do, we can justify things, we can put up a rational on something. Uh, Behaviorally, also, we are very different. Okay, so we can categorize this into four aspects of systems which are thinking like human, or whether they can think rationally, systems that can act like humans, and systems that can act rationally. Okay, so now these are different areas into which all systems can be divided into. If you really want an intelligent system, you would want something which can think and behave like a human being, right? Then you would say you've truly got a real artificial intelligence. That means an intelligence which can behave and think like a human being. Now this is far from, it's not as easy as it seems to be. The movies which you see, and the talks which you hear sometimes, and the presentations which are made in public sometimes are, they give you an impression that AI has matured and it's really, really, available to anybody and everybody. It's not so much available to everybody and anybody yet. But there are specific use cases, especially in the industry, where AI can really be helpful for any particular individual or a company. Okay, and that's what we're going to talk about, and how AI impacts businesses, and is there a difference between AI and BI, which is business intelligence, and if there is a difference, what is it, and if there is no difference, then why are there two terms called as, one is called as AI and the other called as BI? So that's what those are the kind of questions which we will contemplate, and we'll try to get the answers for during the sessions which we have. I will encourage participants to share their thoughts and views in the chat boxes. We will try to be, as interactive as possible. Obviously, with more than 120 people already attending the seminar, it might not be possible for me and Saurabh to answer each and every query, but we'll try to do the best we can. All right. So that's it from my side today. Saurabh, I think I can hand it over to you, and you will take it forward.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much.
Bye bye,
And
everyone.
good evening, everyone. I hope I am loud and clear to everyone. And today we'll be going further ahead. So as Asif sir already gave you a little glimpse about AI. So I would like to have a little more interaction with people before I start with. Uh, this is my general habit. When I start with, I just generally have a little more interaction with people. So Shweta, can we have people, typing? Like I would like to have a few things, discussed with them. So do we have a system wherein all the people can type in the chat box?
Sorry, come again. I'm not able
Uh,
to complete understand.
Okay, I would want the participants to type in the chat box. I'll be questioning certain things to them, and I want their
Okay.
input so that we can interact a little bit. So, do we have a system? Like, is it possible?
I think we can do that. I just need to check with the
Hmm.
Mishra ji, our technical person.
Yes, yes, yes.
Mishra, are
Please,
you
madam.
online? Just give me a minute.
No problem.
Please continue. Meantime,
I
I'll
will
check and
continue.
confirm. Yeah.
Perfect, perfect, absolutely perfect. So, uh, all right. So let me continue. So wanted to give you a little brief about intelligence, and also wanted to explain you the term artificial intelligence. Okay, so to give you a little idea on that, I'll start off with explaining the term intelligence itself. Okay, just give me a minute. I have something to share with you, so I'll be doing that.
Hello, Saurabh sir.
Yes, please. Ah, so I just want if you can give access to people so that they can chat with me. That's it. I that's the only requirement. So
मिश्रा जी आप हैं?
बोलिए।
हाँ, अच्छा सर ऐसा बोल रहे हैं कि हम है ना पार्टिसिपेंट्स को चैट रूम में लिखने का परमिशन दे सकते हैं क्या?
वापस बोलिए मैडम, वापस बोलिए।
पार्टिसिपेंट्स में लिखने का परमिशन दे सकते हैं?
मतलब सर क्वेश्चन जो आना चाहिए।
हेलो,
आपका आवाज नहीं आ रहा है।
मैं आपको
आप
कॉल
बोलिए।
करती हूँ।
हाँ,
all right. Okay. So in the meanwhile, I have shared a screen where I'm trying to give you a little explanation about the journey. So now this is the journey which I want all of my students and listeners or participants to always understand. Okay, now this journey is starting from the data and it leads us to intelligence. Now, I'm going to discuss a couple of things here so that you understand more about this journey. Now, the term data seems pretty obvious to us. We've been, every day in our daily lives, we've been speaking the same term, and we believe that we know the term data. Okay, so to our context, we have different definitions of data, but today I'll be giving you a little explanation to make you understand what data is. Okay, if if you can get the place to chat, then probably I'll be able to have a little more input from you. So in the meanwhile, I would like to just tell you, data has its own definition that it is a collection of raw facts and figures. A very simple definition which has been taught to people. Okay, so data is a collection of raw facts and figures. Now, what are these raw facts and what are these figures? We need to understand. Now, a raw fact, when I say a fact, that means it is a term which has a value or a correct value. Okay, so facts in short, we call them as numbers. So, what are these numbers? Numbers are not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they are not what we speak. You know, probably we speak the same in Hindi, saying "ek, do, teen, char," or in English we say 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are not numbers. These are just a representation of numbers. So if in case I'm writing something, I'm typing it in a different language, I can type the same number one using English, using Roman, using Hindi or whichever language I'm comfortable in. But I'm trying to highlight the value beneath that number, the value which is behind that number. That particular value which is behind that number, which is signifying that particular number, is actually a number. So that is a fact of that number. The data consists of these raw facts. The one how I am representing, for example, I am representing it using a single line. Understand a particular line coming from top to bottom. Okay, so that straight line is defining as one because somebody told me that is one. If somebody would have told me, if to represent one, you need to draw a circle. I would have drawn a circle and represented that circle as one. But since I have been taught that way, I consider it a single way. Now, what happens in this scenario is that whatever that representation, what I am using to signify that, that representation is nothing but a figure. It's a two-dimensional graphical representation. I hope I'm clear with this. Okay, so I would like to have a little more interaction on this. So if the chat pod is ready, then probably I'd like to have a little more information. So I don't know. Let me just check with Shweta. Is it ready? Or participants, can you type if you can see your screens? If you are able to type, then you can probably just type some message to the chat board, and probably I'll be able to see that. I guess it's going to take a little time. Shweta, are you there? Sorry to disturb you, but all right. I think he's been talking to the technical department. Anyway, I'll go further ahead. Now, what happens here in this scenario when we're trying to understand data? Okay, so we've understood one thing, that data is a collection of these raw facts and figures where there are values and there are representations. How you're representing is a different story. So to understand this better, let me give you one example. Okay, for an instance, you've been shown a script which is written in Chinese. Okay, the script what you see in Chinese, that particular script you might not be able to understand. Okay, it could be possible that whatever is written, you are not able to read it. For you, it's just a drawing. Something which is written in Egyptian, again, it's just a drawing to you. You might not be able to interpret that. So those things still have some value. It's not that they are without the value. So since they have a value, that is a data. Something which is drawn, something which is have a two-dimensional graphical representation, considering it as a value, it has a value, and we call that as a data. Now what happens here in another scenario, imagine something which is written and you know it, something which is written in English, for instance, which is there right now in front of your screen. If you can read, understand what's there in front of you in this particular screen, okay, you will call that as an information, because it is a processed form of data. So that by definition, if we see, information is a processed form of data. Now what happens here in this processed form of data, there is a process of explanation which goes by, and that process explains what that value means to us. So something is being programmed in our brains. Similarly, our machines are also programmed. The information what machines have is it's coming from some data, and they are being programmed to understand that. Now, what happens when we have got this information? We are going to derive knowledge out of it. Whatever information we have, whatever understanding, because it is informative to us, we can understand. So now that we have information, now that it is informative, it is known to us, and when things are known to us, we call it as knowledge, something which is known to me. Similarly, it happens in the case of machines also. Things are known to them. When this knowledge is applied, okay, when the knowledge is applied, application of the knowledge is science. जरा हिंदी में बताऊं यही चीज आपको, तो शायद आपको और विश्वास होगा मेरी बातों पे, कि जो जानकारी है, इंफॉर्मेशन जिसे हम जानकारी बोलते हैं, उस जानकारी को अगर हम जानते हैं तो हम उसे बोलते हैं कि हमें उस चीज का ज्ञान है। और जब इस ज्ञान को हम इम्प्लीमेंट करते हैं, कहीं यूज करते हैं, तो वो विज्ञान हो जाता है, दैट इज साइंस। नाउ साइंस कैन बी रॉन्ग, the implementation can be not correctly done, or it could be correctly done. But when you say correctly, not correctly, when you say right or wrong, it simply means something which is by the rule or not by the rule. So if it is done by the rule, as said, as done, it is called as intelligence. And The other way, whether it is not done by the rule, it is still a science. Are you getting it? So the flow from the data to intelligence goes this way, that from the data, when it is processed, you have derived information. This particular information, when you got knowledge, which is implemented, we call it as science. And when it is implemented correctly, that's intelligence. Same thing is happening in machines. They've got information, the set of rules to implement them. If it is implemented correctly by the set of rules, that's intelligence. Now, since the technology is man-made, we call it as an artificial technology. So, going by that artificial technology, if things happen correctly, everything falls in place. We call artificially intelligent machine, or we call that technology as artificially intelligent. So by this, we've got several examples and several doubts coming to our mind. If this AI is that simple, then maybe every next machine which is doing a task is an artificially intelligent machine. This could come into these questions might pop up in our mind, which is correct. If you're getting such questions, it is definitely correct. Okay. Now what happens here is, I'll give you another example of AI. So you can say a calculator, if it is calculating 1 plus 1 is equal to 5, it is correct, and that is AI. I'll say yes. My answer is yes. If a calculator can calculate 1 plus 1 is equal to 5, yes, that's correct. That's AI. Why? No, 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 because humans says no, 1 plus 1 is 2. That's not 5. Okay, fine. That's your rules. But my calculator is programmed that 1 plus 1, that means a value incremented by 1 is represented, the representation of that value after that is 5, because the mathematics what I have learned that way: 1, 5, 3, 4, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is the number game I was being taught. If I would have been taught this number game कि भाई एक के बाद 5 है, फिर 3 है, फिर 4 है, फिर 2 है, फिर 6 है, तो शायद 1 प्लस 1 इज इक्वल टू 5 बोलना करेक्ट है, क्योंकि मेरे रूल्स वैसे हैं। तो अगर मैंने मशीन को उस तरीके से सेट कर दिया है, उसमें रूल्स उस तरीके से डाल के और वो मशीन ऐसा आउटपुट दे रही है, तो वो आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंट मशीन है। इंटेलिजेंस कोई बहुत बड़ा it's not something which you feel that it's a huge term or a big technology. If you can breathe, you are intelligent. If you can drink water easily, you are intelligent. So artificially intelligent, if you say something which is programmed by him, something which is man-made and is doing its task correctly, it is intelligent, and it is artificial intelligence. I hope this gives you a little idea about the term artificial intelligence. There is another term which I'm going to discuss: artificial intelligence and cognitive intelligence. Before I go further, I would just like to have input from Shweta ma'am. Are we ready with the system?
Yeah, I'm ready with the system. Tell me.
Madam, now can we have the chat board on so people can message on the chat?
No, this will not be possible at your end. You can't see the chat because there is some setting is different at your end and at moderator end. Moderator is
Okay.
Mishra ji, so Mishra ji can see the question answers.
Okay. Okay. Mushaji can see the question answers. Okay, people can message, right? So, what can we do is, if Mushaji can show his screen to me, so I'll be able to see the questions. And I'll be able to see the what people are typing, that I can address to everyone, because I want to have a little interaction with you.
Okay, but can we go today as like as it is, because I need to check with Mishra ji, but how we can show
Okay.
it, or even I'm not aware about this
Okay.
technical.
Uh, okay. Not a problem. Not a problem. We can go back. Not an issue. So I'll explain, and hopefully people can understand. So not an issue. Not an issue. So we go back. Okay. Okay. So, Shweta, ma'am, we also have a WhatsApp group, right? Maybe I don't know.
Right,
There is.
right.
Uh, so,
Link
if
is
people
already
can
being
message in that group, people
sorry.
can message in that group. If people can message
So
in that group.
yes, otherwise I already posted in the group that we will provide an email ID, so they can
Uh,
send it to you directly or something kind of that way we can plan.
no, no, I need to have like currently when I am on the group, I am on the session. I just want people
Okay,
to
so they can
interact.
post it. Okay, so fine, they can
Perfect.
post it into the WhatsApp group. You are also there then.
Yes,
Yeah.
perfect, perfect. I'll be reading from that WhatsApp message. So people, if you can, that'll be great. Uh, I'll be interacting with you that way. You can post the messages in the group. So just to confirm that people will message, can I have a confirmation from everyone? Can everyone send a thumbs up in our WhatsApp group if you are close to your cell phone? Perfect. Oh, I've started getting thumbs up. Lovely, lovely, superb. So I think this is great, ma'am. I'll be able to interact with people. Superb. All right. So this is going to be fun. Now, guys, to understand AI and to understand intelligence, uh, to understand AI and to understand intelligence, I'm going to have a small little round of chat with you all. Okay. So since I've told you things about AI today, I've told you what is artificial intelligence. Uh, you give me an example. Come up with your example and tell me what do you think whether that particular thing is AI. Like for example, I would like to say a calculator is an AI. If do you have certain more examples, like you can say a cell phone is an AI, or you can say maybe a computer is an AI. A part of that, if any machine comes to your mind and you want to say even this machine is an AI, you can type that in the group. So I'll read out uh, Tesla Autopilot. Okay, lovely. Google is an AI. Google is a company, sir. Uh, okay, more Alexa. Okay, Alexa is an AI. Alexa and Siri. Okay, Facebook face recognition. Okay, face recognition. Okay, that is AI. Okay, it has AI. Lovely. Google contextual search in AI. Okay. Okay, Google is an AI. Okay, lovely. It is. What more? What more? Can we have some simple things? Auto chatbots. Now these are big terms. Can we have simple things? Netflix? No, Netflix is just a platform. It's an OTT platform. So we won't call Netflix as an AI. It's an OTT platform just to watch videos. Uh, and Netflix uses AI. Every company is using AI. Netflix movie suggestions. Okay. We can say artificially intelligent suggestions possible. Okay, very good. Uh, all right. So moving further now, since we know what is AI, I would like to understand. There's another term, human intelligence. What do you think about human intelligence? Are we intelligent? Are we less intelligent? What is human intelligence? Okay. Can you tell me something about human intelligence? What do you think? Is human intelligence smarter than AI or AI smarter than humans? What do you think? Comparing artificial intelligence and human intelligence. Okay, depends upon person to person. All right, human is smarter. Okay, definitely, Mr. Darshan. Human is smarter. Yes, C.A. Shah. Okay, human is smarter. What more? What more? How smart? When you say smarter, how smart? Or or any other explanation? What is so different? Recollecting 395 section of IT Act is an intelligence. Okay, very true. Okay, we can plan AI. Okay, and AI can't plan AI, do you think? A machine can write another machine code. Like I remember in 2014, I've made a programming language, and that time I realized it is possible. AI does function for which it is designed. So does the human, uh, because he doesn't give answer based on just data, but also with emotions. Okay, now so mean to say humans have emotions? Okay, let me just confuse you here. I am here to confuse you. Okay, so I would like to answer this that because he doesn't give an answer based on emotions. Now, what are emotions? Emotions are nothing but a set of, we can say, rules. If something happens, then that will happen. For example, if I see a chocolate ice cream, I will smile. Wow, because I love chocolate ice cream a lot. If I see a bitter god, oh, probably I might not smile. Then things are really bad. So I need to see a chocolate ice cream always. Whenever we see something, whenever we feel something, there is a certain action which triggers in our cerebellum, and that triggers a little more a synopsis, and those fired, you can say, uh, in our brain, what neurons are firing energy. Well, that energy is a set of energy which is defining me to take a certain action. It could be possible the neurons in my brain, after looking at a scenario, what they are firing, and with those neurons, I will start to smile, or probably I'll start to cry. So again, it depends on certain set of conditions. So maybe emotions are again depending upon conditions. Okay. So in that way, emotions can be calculated. If you don't believe me, there is a program, emotion detection on Twitter. I teach this program to my students. Okay, and wherein on the basis of the emotions, students or the basis of whatever is written in the Twitter comment, you can derive the emotions. Okay, so that's possible. So going further, Bhavik says AI has more data than human intelligence, because AI might have data or information more than just human intelligence. A little bit confusing. All right, let me come to the straight point and explain you. You can see the screen already. I have mentioned what is AI and what is cognitive intelligence. I'm going to explain you how what is different in humans. So this is something which Sir Alan Turing in year 1950. Now this is a history which I'm going to start with. Uh, Started, and wherein he wanted to mimic the human brain. There's a movie, Imitation Games. You can watch that to understand what I'm trying to explain. Now, just imagine there is an example, and that example is I like to drink tea in the morning at 8 o'clock. I get up in the morning at 7 every day, and at 8 o'clock, I would love to have a cup of tea with some biscuits. So that's my daily routine. Could be possible one fine day at 8 o'clock in the morning, my mood is a little different and I don't want to consume tea. The input is same. The day is not bad. I'm I, I- I'm awake at 7 and my the routine is being continued, but the output is a little different. Why is that so? I would like to hear from you all. Why my mood changes? If you can write in the chat. react to events because of emotions, due to external factors, okay, because of situations around you, okay, depends on the schedule, okay. So basically, you are simply trying to say there are set of conditions which are there to divert my mood. Neurons sending signals, okay, a neuron sends signal based on the inputs received from the environment. AI doesn't have health issues. No, my question is different, I guess. So basically, there are a set of conditions what you're writing. All are conditions. There are a set of conditions, and I react to those conditions, and I give outcome based on those conditions. That's how it is. Still hardware problem? Okay, I didn't get that. We respond to event as per the programs of thought in our brain and mind. Okay, that's deep. Okay, let me be very simple. A small kid who's liking a chocolate, who likes chocolate every day, okay, you give one chocolate to that kid, he'll enjoy it. You give it twice, the person will enjoy it. You give it thrice, will enjoy it. You give chocolate every day, the kid will enjoy. But one fine day, the kid might start not enjoying it as much as while the input is the same. Why is that so? One, I'm leaving it. I'm leaving it here. I'm not completing the answer on a purpose. I'm just leaving it. I'll continue this. Another scenario. Right now, you people are listening to me. There are 139 participants who are listening to me, and every one of you have made an image about me, and everyone has made a different image about me. While I'm the same person, my voice is exactly same to all of you. Everyone is listening the same thing what I am saying, but all 139 participants who are listening to me are creating a different image in their brain about me. Am I right or wrong? Yes, no. You can just write yes or no. Yes, yes. Okay, perfect. A lot of yeses. Lovely. So the image, what we have, what you see, everyone will see a different image. Okay, so somebody might see this guy is going to be somebody who's with a huge long hairs, unshaved. Somebody might think the person who's talking to me, it's a thin, skinny bone guy. Somebody might think that he is a bit clean shaved guy because that's what you've seen in the picture. Somebody might think something else. Somebody might think something else, and you start to create your own perception about me. You start to conceptualize a different sort of career in your mind. Now, this is what I call as cognitivity. Humans cognize. We cognize. This is what we call as cognitivity. Same input given, but the output is different. Why today that I've been drinking tea every day in the morning at 8 o'clock, but today, one fine day, I just don't want to have it. That's because of cognitivity. Same input, different outcome. A calculator, you type 1 plus 1. Calculator is going to type 2. You say 1 plus 1, again 2. You type 1 lakh times, 1 plus 1. You type 100 times, 200 times, 300 times, 1 lakh times. Calculator is going to give you 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Why? That's how it is programmed. So why can't humans be? You like chocolate, I'm giving you chocolate, you should enjoy. You should say, okay, okay. But no, that doesn't happen. 3, 4, 5 times you might enjoy it. But one fine day you will come up saying, sorry, no. That's cognitivity. I hope I'm clear to all. Yes, no. Any questions so far? Any questions? You can post on the WhatsApp. I'll answer. Super. Lots of yeses. Artificial intelligence, when I say machines, they can't do that. Machines are conditional. They don't work on cognitive intelligence. They work on conditional intelligence. Conditions are set and they work. So I would like to call AI as conditional intelligence. Okay, there is a question from Mr. Sunil. Is it because of human interaction? I didn't get you, sir. Can you elaborate your question, please? Another one I'll take. If corona robots are giving medicines to patients, is it AI? Yes, they are programmed and they are doing the work, so it is AI. Self-intelligent. Okay, what's that, sir? Perception by human is different. Absolutely correct. Yes. So Neilji, perception by human is different. What they perceive is different. They might perceive differently. You and I perceive differently, and they perceive differently. Okay. Yes. No, no, that's not the reason because it is cognition. Perceiving differently is happening because of cognitivity. An entire world is studying this right now. Nobody's yet been able to get the answer. So my I would call him as my guru, the one who taught me AI. He's been studying the same since the time 1960s. He's a very old man now, and even he's not been able to get an answer. And even Alan Turing in 1950s was studying the same. Okay, Alan Turing wanted to mimic the human brain and ended up making a computer system what we have. So what Alan Turing did, we will discuss that and to understand how AI evolved. That will be our next discussion. Calculator is a machine. Does yes, true. Calculator is a machine. Does AI have imaginative skills? If imaginations are based on conditions, then yes, okay, too. Because it is not programmed. Okay, it covers all remote possibilities. So so is AI also repetitive work. Yes, right. Let me go further. Uh, There, I have kept something on the screen. There are a set of questions in front of you. Okay. The first question is, can machines think? What is your answer? Yes, no. Just type yes or no. Can machines think? No, 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 no. After all we've studied, no. Are humans machine? Second question, are humans machines? Humans are not machines? No, no, no. Lots of no. Okay. 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 Can machines think like humans? Yes or no? No. Can machines think like humans? No, they can't. Oh, now everyone has become intelligent here. They can mimic, as you say, exactly, Mr. Sunny. This is right. Chitti, okay, example. That's a movie. Okay, but good example. If programmed, okay, then machines can think like humans. Not really. Human thinking depends upon the cognition and cognitivity. So machines cannot cognize, hence thinking capacity is limited, or rather not. Another, how would we know whether a computer is thinking? I want answer for this last question. How would we know whether a computer is thinking? Okay, to such rules, computers can think. Uh, Sandeep, uh, okay. Can you tell me how? How would we know whether computers can think or a computer is thinking? It's just a process based on program. Okay. Will never think it will answer as stored. Mhm. So these questions even Alan Turing had, in 1950. He solved it way before computers were invented. Just imagine. He was a brilliant scientist. Brilliant. Uh, he made an AI without even computer system. Computer system never existed, and he made AI. when solutions is achieved by a processing data fed into the system. Okay, computers can't think. It works as it is programmed. Computer will never think. All right, further moving ahead. So what Alan Turing did, let me give you an idea. Now, what happened during the World War that time? Okay, during the World War, now Hitler, everyone knows who's Hitler. So who was Hitler? Sorry. So Hitler used to send messages to its allies to call it for the reinforcement and to plan the attack to the other countries they were fighting on. So in that World War, what happened with Hitler is to communicate with his allies. What he used to do, he used to send them encrypted messages. Okay, and those encrypted messages are being sent by a machine known as Enigma. So Enigma was one of the machines by which the encryption used to happen. So now in Britain there were a team of calculators. Now they were human calculators who used to decrypt Enigma messages by doing permutations and combinations. And they used to make 100 people sit in a room and calculate for 24 hours. And it used to take them 24 hours to calculate or decrypt the message of Enigma. 24 hours. It is as good as saying you can say 100 computer processors working together for 24 hours and they are decrypting. What if we have more? So they needed more mathematicians in that time, and there were very less mathematicians, and it was not possible. So Alan Turing, he thought, why can't I make a machine which can calculate? Okay, so he wanted to make a machine something like humans, something like a human brain. He wanted to mimic a human brain so that they could decrypt the message of Hitler, which has been sent to the Allies. Exactly what he did, he developed a machine, okay, which could decrypt all the messages. You know what was the name of that machine? Okay, so when he developed it, it was named as Christopher. Christopher was Alan Turing's best friend, who was a mathematician, and he passed away in his early age. So he made a machine known as Christopher. But there were a lot of certain reasons why these things were kept secret. And we knew that Charles Babbage was the one who made the computer machine or a computing machine. But then he made this machine which can compute a huge room-sized computer, which could decrypt the message of Hitler. But still, he could not achieve what he actually wanted to. Can machines think or thinking machines, which is yet unknown. Okay, so what he did that time to understand whether machines can think or not, and that answer was a Turing test. I've shared my screen with you. Okay. Ah, oh, I just happened to see WhatsApp messages. Oh, Enigma, yes, and then Christopher, Tanuja, thank you. I'm sure people are intelligent here. You all have watched the imitation games. Not all, but few, definitely. Very nice. All right. So now what happens here is, in Turing test, what test he created, on one side there was a human interrogator, and the other side there was there were two systems. One was an AI system, and there was another human itself. So a human interrogator is going to set a certain set of questions to the other side and doesn't know who's there, the other side. The other side could be a machine, other side could be a human itself. The answers, the responses received from the other side by a human interrogator when he's questioning. So the answers which are being received, an interrogator would decide what has been received from the other end. Okay, whether it is a human answer or it is a machine-based answer. It could have been a machine-based answer. It could have been an AI system answer. It could have been a human answer. Now, what happens? Machines somewhere will not be able to answer it. Like, for example, uh, you all have seen movie, like I'm a kind of movie buff, so that Amir Khan's movie known as PK. Yes, no? Have you seen that movie, PK? So it's very interesting, that movie. Amir Khan is coming from some other planet. Okay, okay, no, there are two no's. My God, people are busy in their work. Uh, Now maybe you need to watch movies. PK, PK. Amir Khan's movie. There are a lot of yeses coming. Okay. Now what happens in the movie? He says, if you remember the dialogue, he says, "Acha, acha." He says that "acha" in 3 to 4 times. See what happens. This happens with our with this happens with us as the you know, with humans, that when we say something, what we mean it, that's very different. It could be satirical. If, for example, somebody might say, "Oh, you're teaching well," it could be a satire, means you really don't know how to teach. It could be an actually compliment that, okay, you can really teach. Or it could be a question, oh, do you really teach well? So a statement which has been delivered can have multiple meanings. Okay, here there are high chances or high possibilities of an AI system to fail. So Alan Turing made this test so that it can uh, make the machine more and more intelligent. So whenever a machine would answer wrong, and definitely human is going to answer correct, understanding the emotion path involved in that questioning method, okay, a human would be able to entertain a little extra than an AI system at times. Okay, at times it could be vice versa. Humans don't have answers, but AI can throw whatever. Okay, that could be. But so what happens with every mistake? It used to learn. It used to train. So all those mistakes used to be taken as a training set of data. So Alan Turing made the system way before machines would ever build. So he thought that if one fine day the day machines would be built, this algorithm would be used. And yes, in today's world, when any chatbot is made, a chatbot needs to pass a Turing test. And when the Turing test is passed, a chatbot is approved. The first chatbot who could pass the Turing test was named as Aliza, built by Professor Wiesenbaum in Germany. Okay, that was the first intelligent system or chatterbot. A chatterbot is a bot which is keeping you engaged when you're typing. So right now, when we talk to the customer care, we see a lot of chatbots coming. We really don't talk to the humans. We question and we get responses. Banks or maybe the telecommunication companies, they all have these chatbots. Like, we go to several websites for solving. You go to Zomato. Zomato will always give you a chatbot first. You use Swiggy, you get a chatbot first. The chatbot will take care, will entertain maximum possible. And once the chatbot reaches its limit where it cannot answer, the human comes in. Okay. I hope this Turing test is understood. Any questions so far? So there is something Naisha saying, we are also human and having the right to entertainment. Yes. Okay. So Neil sir said, once you are a CA, you need to forget. Sir, I'm a science student, so I don't want to say further. All right. CPA ULC exam also conducted using a kind of AI. As appearing 100 questions in examination hall, everyone has appearing different papers. Paper change on the performance of the students. All right. Yes, very true. Further, it's understood. Any questions so far? Yes, no, any questions? No questions. Okay, I hope I'm able to guide everyone. Okay, so well, I'm sharing a small little history. It's there in front of you on my screen. and I just want you to spend maybe like 2 minutes on the screen, what is written, and just read it. Okay, this is very readily available history from the internet as well, but I have accumulated a few pointers and jotted down here. Uh, Hemant sir, voice quality. Okay, I'll try to check my headphones if you say so, but I believe it's clear. I'll still check. I'll check in my headphones. Thank you. I'll check. Just a moment. Is it better now? Am I audible to all?
Sorry to interrupt you, but I think जिनको voice नहीं आ रही है, maybe शायद network issue होगा, because I am able to hear you completely okay.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Okay, I have shared the screen, and on my screen there is a brief history written. I hope everyone can see the screen. Shweta ma'am, is my screen visible to all?
Yes.
All right. Thank you for. There are a lot of yes coming. Yeah, perfect. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So I want you all to spend 2 minutes on the screen. There is something which is written. It's just a history. Just read it. So done. Okay. All right. Fine. So a brief history talks about what happened after the World War II and certain things which are being written. Okay, we can read this always online. McCulloch and Walter Pitts, they made the first artificial neuron. Now let me explain you what is an artificial neuron to understand AI much better. Okay, we understand neurons in our brain. Do we understand neurons in our brain? So our brain consists of like a billion neurons, like 100 billions of them. All right, there are a lot of yeses coming. So now what happens in a neuron, which there in our brain, it has a specific structure. Hold on, I'll just show it to you. I'm just opening the slide to show you the specific structure of a neuron. All right. So can you see the screen? Okay, perfect. So, well, there is this neuron, and this neuron has its own structure. Well, there's a nucleus. This is a biology, okay? There's a dendrite. There are axons. So we need to understand how the things work in there, how the process works. There are synapses. Okay, now what happens here is dendrite and axons. Okay, they are the I/O input-output devices. They receive the signal, they forward the signal. Nucleus is the one which processes the signal. All right. So, and synapses are those inputs, what you can say, which have been exchanged. So I would like to tell you, in our brain there are like 100 billion neurons, and they exchange about a 10 trillion synapses at a moment. A 10 trillion synapses, every synapse is nothing but it is formed of an ion. I'm not taking too much chemistry, but ions are the negative voltage. All right. So if you accumulate that 10 trillion synapses, it takes up to 5 volts of energy, which is sufficient to light an electric bulb of 5 volts. Okay. So our brain produces 5 volts of energy at a moment. शायद इसीलिए जब भी दिमाग की बत्ती जलाओ का मतलब होता है तो वो छोटा सा बल्ब बता देती है 5 वोल्ट का बल्ब जला. Okay, so that's very interesting. So now what happens here is somebody thought the two of them, Mr. Warren Sholok and Walter Pitts. So these two guys, they thought, why can't we just replicate this neuron only? Okay, that was good. They thought of replicating the neuron, and well, in 1943, they did that. They could replicate a neuron, and what they understood, what this neuron is doing, it is taking an input and giving some logical output. So in mathematics, we might have learned the concept of logic gates, and in physics also. This is in 10th standard or 10th or maybe max till 12th. I don't know how many of you have done it, but till 10th तक तो रहता है मतलब मेरी knowledge के हिसाब से. Logic gates. Now these logic gates are the ones जब हम कभी हार्डवेयर खोलते हैं तो उसमें IC होती है, integrated circuit. That integrated circuit is made of these logic gates. तो इन्होंने सोचा कि let's make a logic gate, हम बना सकते हैं, तो ठीक है. So they made a logic gate. They were physicists. So they made a logic gate wherein you can take an input, throw the output. And what was the logic? Okay, there were three logics defined: and, or, not. If two inputs are there, so how it works? If, for any logic gate to work, you need two set of inputs. So any neuron to work, you need two set of inputs. If one of the input is working, so for example, the situation is if input A and input B, they are working, the output is working. If input A or input B is working, the output is working. Another third condition, only input A comes in, the output is the contradictory or totally inverse of input A. So they worked upon these three logics, wherein when the two conditions are being satisfied, okay, so output is correct. One of the two condition is satisfied, the output is correct, or any one condition which comes, the output is inverse. Working on these three logics, they developed the logic gate, and the logic gates are and, or, and not. Combining three, they made a neuron, artificial neuron. This artificial neuron had a logic of XOR. Forget XOR, forget and, forget or. But for you to understand, just try to understand. This was been done by a Boolean input output. So George Boole, the one who made the Boolean algorithm, Booleans which we have learned in our schools, Boolean means 0 and 1, the rule of 0 and 1. Okay, we've learned all that during our mathematics. Okay, now what happens in this scenario is whatever the inputs come in, based on that the output is calculated. So yes, that's how they could just make this particular neuron. With the help of these neurons, a collection of the set of all the neurons defines a brain. So they thought if we create a million neurons, maybe in our brain there are 100 billions of them, but if we can create a million neurons, a small segment of brain can be defined. So with the set of inputs which are coming, we work. So how our brain works, how the neurons work really, let me tell you. Okay. Uh, for example, right now you're listening to me. You're listening to me, you listen to my voice, you are looking at your computer screen, your eyes are watching, but your eyes are also watching much other things, only in front of the screen. And you're also listening to many other sounds, but you're trying to focus on one. Now, what happens here is the neurons are receiving, they are receptors. They receive a lot of signals, the smell you have nearby you, the sound which is coming. The receptors are like we can whatever five senses we have. All the five senses are taking those receptions, and our brain is processing those receptions in millions. And out of them, only few are being concentrated, and we concentrate right now on listening to my voice. You're trying to listen, so you're trying to ignore other things. Okay, so a huge amount of neurons are working on that. Similarly, the machines, when they are being programmed, a microprocessor which is working, the integrated circuit in the machine which is working, it works on similar principles, a similar principle of logic, wherein the inputs come in, it calculates and throws the output. I hope I'm not too technical. I'm trying to keep myself away from technicality, understanding that it'll become heavy. I hope I'm fair to all. Yes, no. Okay. Oh, thank you. Okay. Yes, a lot of yeses. All right. Okay. So I think I'm able to reach. I purposely don't want to get into more depth of technicalities. To understand the brain metaphor, I have a couple of lectures on YouTube. You can check that at your own time, whatever. So probably I can give you the links to check that, and you will understand those videos. Okay, I'll be sharing the links. Don't worry. The documentation. Earlier, somebody asked whether I'll be sharing the PPTs. Don't worry. I'll share the content, so that's not a problem. I'll share it with Shweta ma'am probably, and Shweta ma'am can give it to you. So I will share whatever content is available. No problem. No problem. All right. Sorry. So I hope this concept is understood. All right. Okay. Then further, Marvin Minsky. Now, Marvin Minsky is a person who has worked very closely with my mentor and guide of AI, who is still alive. 1951, yes, but the person who has worked with Marvin Minsky is alive. So uh, they he gave me an idea how the first neural network computer was being built during their time. It's pretty interesting. And then Alan Turing also, he had a complete vision of AI, which is given computing machinery and intelligence. In 1950, he did that. Okay, so that's a history. It's pretty beautiful. Okay, then there was a task to understand the machines you will build. Now, there is a gap which you need to fill in, and that gap is, what? मशीन तो बन जाएगी, एआई प्रोग्राम कर लेगी, कैसे? ह्यूमन इनपुट्स को उस मशीन तक पहुंचाना कैसे? How do we ensure what I am speaking, what I am talking, what inputs I am giving should reach that machine? So there was a, a gap to be filled, a huge gap to be filled, and that gap was filled by a person. I'd like to show you. Okay, I have. Uh, he was the guy. Can you see the screen? That gap was filled by this guy. Uh, I'll tell you what was the gap. John McCarthy, the one who made a first world's second oldest and the first AI programming language, that is Lisp, list processing, LISP, Lisp. So what is Lisp or list processing? It used to process AI-based programs. Now he built that communication gap which was been there, and well, he did that in 1958. In 1958, he somehow could build that Lisp language, which was there to fulfill the gap. Like for example, I want to program in English, I want to write in English, and whatever these writings are, been again then uh, given to machines in the machine language form. So he did that. But prior to that, somebody has already built a first ordered logic, FOL, and that first ordered logic was been derived by several people, and on the basis of the first ordered logic, Lisp was been built. So I am not going to take you to the depth of first ordered logic because there will stretch a lot of lecture and will be too. It is interesting actually. Uh, can I go a little more technical with your permission? Because I really want to show you a couple of things. I hope people are not getting bored. So if you are not getting bored, then only I'll take you to the technicalities. No, please, not at all. Okay, okay. Uh, okay. There are two no's and there are multiple yeses. If I go by the rule of probability, then I think I should say yes. I'm sorry. I'll make it more interesting. I'll try to make it more interesting for the two of them who said no. Uh, uh, okay, I guess that technical will help you understand AI better, Mr. Ramesh sir. The technicalities that I'm going to discuss, it's going to explain you a little more, make it a little more interesting. Okay, just a moment. I'll show you something. I'll just open my a few slides to. Okay, okay, yeah. So now I have certain things. Now this is something which is well taught to me by my professor when I was a student. So he gave me certain set of notes. So we used to note down the lecture notes of my professor C.B. Graham. So I'll just share a couple of things with you to make you understand more. Now AI is defined as it's a study of mental faculties using computational modeling. Okay, is my screen visible to you all? Hopefully, the screen is
Yes,
visible. All right,
yes,
great.
we can.
All right, perfect, superb. So now AI is a study of mental faculties through the use of computational models. That's the definition. Why we go there. Um, it to understand and go further ahead in that. Now, how these mental faculties work? Now, what happens here is a computer system needs to act intelligent and it needs to have inputs from human and need to convert those inputs of human intelligently and act on them. So how it does, I'll quickly give you a brief of it. So internal representation was another method which was being again coined. Now what is this internal representation? Okay, we'll take you to that. In order to act intelligently, a computer must have a knowledge about the domain of interest. First thing, yes, as we have learned. Second is knowledge is the body of facts, principles gathered, or act or fact or a state of knowing that we know something. And this knowledge needs to be presented in a form which is understood by a machine. So we've seen that flow from the data to information to the knowledge and then to intelligence. So the knowledge needs to be presented in a form so that my machine can understand how these machines work, how they become intelligent. This unique format was called as internal representation. So the plain English sentences could be translated into internal representation and they could be used to answer based on the given sentences. So that used to happen in internal representation. The writing mechanism is a little different. Okay, now certain properties of internal representation. This is very interesting. This is no technicality here. This is pure English, which we have learned during our primary section. First, internal representation must remove all the referential ambiguities. Now, there are certain set of referential ambiguities which were there in internal representation. Now, I've written an example here. Raj said that Ram was not well. He must be lying. Now, this is very interesting. Raj said that Ram was not well. So, who is lying? Can you tell me who is he? Can you all tell me who is he? Raj? Somebody says Raj is lying. Uh, who is he? Or Ram is lying? Some Raj Ram. Oh, that's how it is going to be. Raj or Ram. This is referential ambiguity. We need to reference it correctly. So that was the biggest problem in our language. See, I told you earlier, our languages are, very tacky. Could be either. No, it's not either. It's very, very correctly referred to. Now, if you are a friend of Raj and you know that Raj is a notorious guy and who always lies, then you will say Raj must be only lying. Why? Because Raj is notorious. You know it. That is how it has been programmed. Okay. And in another way, if you would know Ram is notorious, then you would say Ram would be lying. He's well, but he's just saying he's not well or whatever. So this is a referential ambiguity where to reference. Machines needs that clarity. Second, internal representation should avoid word sense ambiguity. Okay, so what is word sense ambiguity? This is very interesting. First example, Raj caught a pen. Means you're actually holding a pen with your fingers. Caught a pen. Then we say Raj caught a train. Means you are actually inside the train. You train came in, you boarded the train, you're sitting inside the train. That's what you actually try to mean. Then Raj caught fever, which means Raj is not actually going and hugging the fever. It means Raj is unwell. But the word caught here has different meanings. We call this as a word sense ambiguity. The word has different senses. Caught, it can catch a pen. Like the caught is being used to actually catch. The caught is being used to actually sit in the train. The caught is being used to actually define the situation wherein the person is unwell. So that's his word sense ambiguity. Are we clear? Yes? All right. Third, internal representation must explicitly mention functional structure. So the example is Ram killed Ravan. Ravan was killed by Ram. Now this is, you can say, the figure of speech, like the speech has been said the other way. Ram killed Ravan and Ravan was killed by Ram. But again, the machines won't understand that. When you say Ram killed Ravan, for machine, Ram and Ravan are two just variables, A minus B. Now, when you turn this point, Ravan was killed by Ram, it becomes B minus A. Mathematically, the output is different. So, Uh, well, there is a big gap. Okay, somebody is writing here. I heard that Sanskrit is the language which has a unique word pronunciation and meaning. Sanskrit has sandhis, which means you don't need connectivities between the sentences. Hence, you can speak the sentence in any of the way, any of the form, and it will mean the same. On the same principles, they are trying to build Lisp on the basis of sandhis. So what he said is correct. So they came to handle this. They came with predicate calculus. Predicate calculus is an internal representation methodology, one of the methodologies. There are many other methodologies, okay, which they came with to explain. Now there is an example which I would just like to say. Raj came late on Sunday. So in this, Raj came late and Sunday. There are three different entities. I would say Raj is A, Sunday is B, came late is sign of plus. I would say A plus B. So the representation is came late Raj Sunday. In predicate calculus, that would be written as plus AB. This is how it is represented. So the variables which are been there, they have been taken, the values are been taken, and what you will do with that value is been defined. So in short, I'll just like to, I'm just summing it up quickly. Okay, in short, in predicate calculus, there were arguments and there were predicates. So there were objects and there were assertions. There are objects, Raj, Sunday, all these are objects in a sentence. And there are assertions made about that object, that is came late, whether it came on time, Raj is on Sunday, whatever we are writing. So our sentences are this way. So we've got two types of sentences. One sentence is with the argument and the predicate, and another sentences which are straightaway instances. For example, Anita is a woman. So it doesn't have a predicate part. This is in English, this is primary English I'm talking about. So Anita is a woman. It is a sentence without any predicate. So we just define Anita is equal to woman. That means it's an instance which has been defined. So in AI, these things were defined that way. Considering argument separate, predicate separate, and the assertions, connections between them. I hope this is interesting here. So I won't be going further. I'll hold it on here. I don't want to take it further, but I hope this is clear. इतना आपको समझ गया? Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. Wouldn't is be a predicate of being? I didn't get you. Sorry. Our screen lost. Oh yeah, I actually turned it off. I'm sure I'm sharing something else. Uh, Kariniya ma'am, be is comes from being. Okay, that way. Probably the sentence could be, since I don't really know who the person who made being, the one who formed in this in English. I can't comment on that. So it would be wrong if I comment anything wrong on this. As in, being is a woman. No idea, ma'am. I'm not getting it. Our screen is lost, yes, because I have turned it off. I'm showing you something else. Okay, any further questions so far? I hope I'm clear to all. Okay, no. Okay, can I have your questions, please? That's a no question, you mean? Okay. Okay, Lisp. I can explain Lisp again. I'll quickly tell you. Lisp means list processing. I just showed you an example of A plus B. So Lisp it's a language by which you can calculate or you can write programs in AI. Okay, so probably there are a few programs which I've done during my college time, and they are available. You can posted them online. You can just type my name on Google and just write list. You will get all the programs with explanations. So you just need to type my full name and type list in your Google search. It will start showing you all the programs. So maybe you will be able to understand more Lisp on that. I've done that during my college time, so it's still there online. All right. Uh, is it necessary for even AI program to pass a Turing test? Not necessary. Python is more used nowadays, I guess. Yes, nowadays it's been highlighted more, but language was always been used. And for that, you need to have knowledge of algorithms. You need to have basic logic, not knowledge of algorithms really. So if you have certain set of logic clear, then done. Is SQL and AI? SQL means structured query language, which is used to query the database. So it's just a language to query database. It's not an AI based language. Python is necessary for AI? No, not at all necessary for AI. Python is one of the language which is good if you want to code something in AI. You can code in any language. In fact, you can create your own language. I have developed my own language in year 2014 and published it. It took me 4 years to publish that language, but I somehow made it. So probably if you want to read more on that language, it's there available online again. What are the other languages than Lisp for AI? Uh, to be honest, there is Prolog, there is Lisp, definitely Python also, even in C. So practically, you can program AI in any language. There is no restriction. Okay, R knowledge is necessary. R is another tool which is used for data mining. It's good for it. You can use it for AI as well. Is R better for learning or Python as a beginner? As a beginner, instead of programming languages, you should learn object-oriented programming. That means the base of programming. Okay, that's very important. If you know how the programming is done, be it any language, you'll be able to program. So that's what we teach our students. Our knowledge is necessary, not see as I said, not compulsory. Any programming language is not compulsory. I would like to take more questions. Good that I'm getting questions. So I think we can have questions more instead me explaining you more on things. I have any which way a lot more to explain, but we can have questions more today. Can you please explain cognitivity? Okay, I can explain cognitivity. To explain cognitivity, try to understand it is about human thinking. When we perceive differently, human perception. Every human will have a different set of perception to a given same set of input. We cognize our own world. We cognize our own understanding to everything. Now, this where we cognize ourselves, this where we define our own set of understanding to the things, we call it cognitivity. In short, to give you a little idea. Okay, uh, we'll go with another question. What is the expected timeline when AI will replace accountants? It will never. So don't worry, your job is always safe. AI will never, and then like people ask me, AI will replace jobs. That won't happen. AI will not replace jobs. Rather, AI will create jobs. When computers came in and there was a paradigm shift, people say computers will take away jobs. Sorry. In fact, there are many jobs open. It's just that new jobs open. You need to change. I'll give you one of the simple example. I read it the other day online. It just happened during this COVID pandemic. I happened to read online. A lady has written a small little article saying there was a pani puri seller outside her colony, and during the pandemic, it was he used to make some like $1,000 a day, and somehow because of the pandemic, the person could not do the business. After a few days, when everything was shut, she happened to see the same person selling the mask. So now she went up to that guy and asked him that you were the same Pani Puri seller, now you're selling the mask. He simply answered one thing. See, currently Pani Puri is not the need. The business is shut. I found a simple way. The current need is mask. So my wife, who knows how to stitch a mask, she started stitching a mask at home, and now I'm selling the mask. I'm just making a quick buck. Fair enough. That's a simple thing. Somebody at a very smaller scale can understand. Why can't we? That with the time we need to change, and when we change with the time, things work with us. Like Charles Darwin said, if you don't if you don't change with the time, and if you don't change with the change, then probably you will perish. Okay. Moving further. Uh, do you have any videos on programming on YouTube? I have. I don't have really on programming, but I have other things you can Google. Uh, can you please provide me your brief intro since many members joined webinar lately? Okay, Saurabh Bukharia is my name. You can just type into Google, everything would be there. All right, yes, we need to change. Another question, how much impact AI will play in these times of crisis where work from home will be more happening? AI has already started showing its effects, like from the medicine study and from monitoring people whether they are working or not, and for everything, everywhere where you see the computers are being used, AI is there. You just need to understand it's there. In auditing and analysis, yes. Uh, okay, nice example for change. Thank you. Developing with technology is necessary very much. Survival of the fittest. Yes, Charles Darwin said survival of the fittest. A simple example, guys. Today, you all are chartered accountants. You're sitting for an AI lecture. You're ready to change. So that's the answer. Uh, Okay, so what about privacy and data security when AI have so much data in wrong hands, it can ruin. Uh, okay, data and privacy becomes another subject of learning. But in a short word, I would say, see, it's a knife. You use it to cut vegetable or to slit a throat. It's in your hand. So data is just like that. Where it is and how it is being used, it's a totally call of perception. Okay, in developed countries, they are now offering Python ecosystem, Tableau, and AI. Uh, against India is doing the same, and India is a developed country. Someone says that how future requirements will be not of accountants, but of accountants with engineering background. Is it true? Absolutely wrong. I'll give you one example. Today, I taught you biology. Okay, I was an electronics student. I've never taken biology during my study. So I never come from a biology background, but I understand human brain. Because when I started learning AI, I understood this is the point I need to learn that. So I think that is ruled out. Okay, AI I think can also check how much each person is working and which app is used for how much time, how much keyboard and how much mouse is used. Very much true. That is possible. Somebody has posted my URL. Well, that's my URL, right? In developed countries, they are now offering Python W while performing accounting courses. Yes, very true. Very true. You complete the sentence. Very true. What would be the demand and more focused on AI world and what would perish. Uh, that time can decide. I'll be the wrong person if I give you the future prediction of what will happen. But one thing is clear: if you are ready to learn, you will not perish. So you keep learning AI. At least for a few years, definitely you'll be able to survive. What would be in demand and more focused on AI world and what would perish? Okay, it's the same thing. All right. Any further questions? Learn AI means what? Learn AI? Info? I'm sorry, I didn't get it. QuickBook or Xerox is Zero is accounting software which have AI, which have a AI not complete but partially. Is it correct? I need to check with them whether they have implemented, but I'm sure they would be having. So uh, they would be having. See, I'm sorry, I'm not from accountant background, so a lot of accounting softwares would be unknown to me. I have a limited knowledge, and that limited knowledge is very, very away from chartered accountants. So in this, I need to take your support to understand. But yeah, if it's a conglomerate company, definitely they'll be using AI. I can give you examples how AI can work. Probably in our next session, I'll be explaining you how AI applications work, how things work behind, what is behind the scene. Okay, or what a CA should learn to accommodate fast-paced changes. CA, a part of accounting, or rather not just CA, but everyone in the current scenario need to learn information technology core, and if you want to excel, try to learn IT in a little more depth, and if possible, a little bit of AI, so that nobody can fool around you. You understand things and you can survive. Okay. Uh, Smack, any idea on this AI product? It learns from inputs. This practice normally used in USA. Okay. You mentioned that you learn AI and you will survive. Is it learning programming or just understanding good enough? Depending upon, Nimsha, it totally depends upon uh, whether you want to do programming or not. If you want to be in the field where you are, understanding a basic AI like what we are doing right now is fairly enough, not an issue. Uh, have you started Q&A? Yes, sir, I've started Q&A. All right, Saurabh, just some good books or a movie for engaging experience on AI. Oh, okay. I'll definitely what I'll do is I'll definitely post a few books which I personally refer to. So I'll give you all the content. I'll give you an entire list of the content and the URLs and everything what you should refer to. I'll do that. We'll give you that. Probably at the end of all the sessions, we'll give you entire package altogether. Okay. So, few questions coming more. Is data science a part of AI? And if yes, then how AI? Yes, data science. We will discuss this topic further. In fact, let me tell you what we are going to discuss further to give you an idea. Okay. Uh, so we've got a couple of topics. If you forget what you speak, book, name, program, or course you will suggest. You will not forget, sir. Don't worry. I'll make that impact that you won't forget, and I'll definitely share the data with you so that you remember. I'll do that. We've made a small little idea to a small little program guideline how we are going to work with. So I'll just share it with you so that you remember. Just a moment. I'll share that with Sweta ma'am also, but right now I'm just sharing on my screen. All right, is my screen visible to all?
Yes.
Uh, Perfect. So, today introduction and history of AI was been there in our part. Then Ashish sir is going to talk about types of AI, which is fuzzy, NN, neural network, machine learning, deep learning, and NLP. After that, I'll be talking on AI applications like OK Google and Watson. Then again, Ashish sir will come and talk about the statistical methods. He'll introduce you with statistical methods. Then I'll give you certain data analytical algorithms which are being used. After that, Ashish sir will introduce you with BI and BI applications. Okay, and then I'll be introducing you with a decision support system. Then BI using social media. Okay, that's my favorite topic. I'll explain you that on that because you'll see me hyperactive on social media, and I've done enough research on that because that's a secret kept for you, and you will be amazed. Then data visualization and reporting, it's going to be a practical implementation by Assessor, and then there'll be a dashboard explanation, okay, by Assessor. So we'll give you an understand of business intelligence in that part. So if you can see the screen, this is the program which we've built, the 10 different modules, how we are going to discuss. Okay, and I will definitely share the same with the Shweta ma'am, so she can share all that with you. Any further questions so far, or are we good to go for today? Data visualization. Somebody wrote Power BI. Power BI, yes, it does. It does data visualization. Very correct. Yeah. Shweta ma'am, are we good
Yes.
to go for today, or anything more further?
I think we can close for the day if
Okay.
no questions.
If any questions are there, I can happily answer for 10 more minutes. I have my time. Uh, I can see the chatbot. Thanks, sir. Okay, Sunilji, thank you for your compliments. Do we receive a program link every day? I think that's Sweta ma'am can answer you on that. If you can share some content for tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to be a study on fuzzy neural network, which is types of AI. Different types of AI you will be learning tomorrow. Okay. Whether the webinar is recorded, somebody is questioning Sweta ma'am. I think ma'am can answer on that. I think the session is being recorded, I can see. So maybe again, ma'am can help you on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, definitely
Yes,
we are trying. If we would be able to retrieve it completely, definitely we are trying to share with everyone.
perfect, perfect. Another question is, can you share something to read which can help us understand? Definitely, I'll give you study material. I'll give you reading material. Don't worry on that. I'll definitely do that. What is difference between AI and robotic process automation, RPA, what we call? So robotic process automation is an AI-based program which automates small tasks. For example, a task is to print a paper or print on a piece of paper some text. So that has been automated. If I come into the office, automatically it will start printing. So that is robotic process automation. I can automate any process. So the processes have been written. If a certain condition arises, then things will happen. For example, today, if I process all the accounts, it will be automatically printed without even questioning. That is RPA. So RPA has those small set of programs. Okay. What AI says about today's lecture? That, sir, you can say. If recorded version and the material can be shared, yes, it will be. Power BI, Tableau, automation, anywhere, which is better. All are better, sir. Every application is built in its own set of capacity, so we cannot actually compare them. But depending upon the requirements, they are best. Yeah, members joined by restroom since the link is reactivated. Again, this question is for Shweta ma'am. Uh, where C is ready for change or static? Okay, simple answer. On which topics we'll get practical exposure? There will be practical exposure is going to be almost on decision support system, BI using social media, data visualization, dashboard. All these are practical oriented. We will be showing you a couple of things happening. Okay. Uh, can you give example on how finance can be integrated with AI? Yes, definitely. I can give you an understanding. Simple stock market prediction. If you see, okay, even that's been happening using AI and business intelligence tools. I'll be sharing you. how the Google ads work and how they generate revenue through the ads. So that's going to be a part in my AI applications where I'll tell you that. How I'll actually show you rather, so you will be able to understand how it works. In AI starts, our knowledge is required, but counter knowledge is lacking. Statistics and yes, knowledge is required. A little bit of knowledge, if you have, it's always better. You can have closer destination. Okay. In a layman's term, RPA is used for monotonous work. AI is actual human intelligence. No, even AI is monotonous work. It's for digital marketing, right? Yeah, you can say not just digital marketing, but several other aspects than digital marketing. Okay. Another question. AI, BI, and ML are three very different. You will understand this difference tomorrow by Ashish sir. He's going to talk on the same topic. Ramesh sir. RPA can be deployed in assembly line, AI and ML in legal advisory. Okay, not only in assembly line, but somewhere more to that. Even in legal advisory, process automation can happen anywhere. Mm. So that's it. I think we are done, and so I hope I'm able to explain you whatever I can. Mm. So thank you for today. Thank you, Shweta ma'am. If you can take over, and shall I conclude the lecture?
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yes, you can. Thank you so much, Saurabh. We all are not connected physically, but your interaction made it so live that we didn't feel that we are not there in your physical classroom. And I'm sure everyone will agree on this point. So really, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll connect again tomorrow. And all the participants, please know that we are rescheduling the time from 6:30 to 8:30 to 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. due to some reasons. So tomorrow's session will start by 4 o'clock. Link will be sent to you through mail also. And also we will post in our WhatsApp group. And daily you will receive a different link. So you have to log in through link only. So I think now
Thank
we
you.
can close further today. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
हेलो श्वेता मैम
हाँ मैं क्लोज एंड कर रही हूँ
आप मत करिए मैं कर रहा हूँ आप मत करिए मैं कर रहा हूँ
ठीक है आप
हेलो श्वेता मैडम हेलो
हेलो हाँ
बोल रहा आप मत करिए मैं करता हूँ आप लोग
ठीक है
तू मॉडरेटर बनाएगी